What's up? What's up? How y'all doing, man? Hope all is well with y'all. So what I got here is I got this beat that I'm about to mix. I got a few beats I need to mix actually to send out. Tempo sent to me, and I need to get them back so he can go ahead and send them out to who they're meant for. So I figured, why not just jump on here and mix this live with you guys real quick. I always get questions about mixing beats, so let's do that. Mix this beat and see what we can do from there. So let's play with the beat we have here, and then we'll just take it from there and show you a little bit of the process if you haven't seen me mix. And if you have questions, like I said, just let me know. One thing to keep on a note of, or make a note of here before I get started, you'll notice that I'm going to mix a lot of this in mono to start with. Okay, so when I unbypass it, we'll reference it in stereo. But for now, we'll leave it in mono. So this is where we're at for now. Okay, so you get the point as far as what we're working with. So the first thing I'm going to do here, and I usually do this, if you guys have taken my How to Start Every Mix course, this is something that I usually do ahead of time, which I'll export these files into another session, or actually in Studio One, and I'll gain stage it, or actually normalize it to a certain dB. In this case, the session was already sent to me, so I'm just going to go ahead and touch up a few things. So for example, you see this 808 here. And let's pull the VU meter up here, right? See where it's hitting. It's VU meter. That's pretty good, actually. My boy Tempo be on it. Okay. Look at this. All right, you see how that's just... So at the peak, I want to hit 0, and it's not necessarily something that you have to do. It's just, you know, when you get used to doing something, this is something that works for me. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. So what I'm going to do is basically just clip gain this up until this is hitting 0 at its peak. And that way, when it hits the plugin, whatever plugin I put on it, it's going to be able to hit it at the right level every time. All right, and as I'm turning it up, I'm hitting Shift, Control, and up. And you'll see down here, it'll say the number, how I'm gain staging it, right? Or how I'm clip gaining it. Okay, let's go to this kick real quick. And I'm mainly going to do this on the main instruments like the kick, 808, bass, and then some of the regular instruments like the piano and things like that as well. Perfect, good to go. All that is good to go. Look at the snare. Now I'm not going to bring this all the way to 0, but I am going to turn it up. Okay. Clap definitely got to come up. Okay, that's cool. Let's look at this. Okay, look at this clap again. That's perfect. That's fine for me. Okay, clip gain in that. This might be okay. So these like open hats and closed hats, they're not really a main instrument. So it's not really something that I have to do all the way to zero. But like I said, if you take my course, which is free in the actual description, you'll see how I do all that. That's fine. Now this I definitely want to bring up a little bit. Alright, and if depending on how long it takes to mix this beat, I got 2 other ones, but I've already done this process on the other ones, so we'll just jump in and mix the other ones. But I at least want to show you guys, if you're not aware of this, so you kind of know how I'm doing that. That should be okay, but we're going to give it a little level. Don't care about that really right now. Wait a minute. I don't think there's anything on this. There's not. So I don't even need that. Going to delete that. And see here. That's cool. What is this? What's that? We're gonna probably need to turn that up a little bit. Okay, and then let's look at this last one. Probably just a sting. Perfect. Good to go. Okay. And then let's look at these keys real quick. All right, you see that? I want to turn these up for sure. So that way when they're hitting that plug in, they're going to hit it at an optimal level. Okay. Same thing with the ARP here. Okay. ARP 2. Alright, that's cool. See about this box. I know this is redundant and repetitive, but it's the small things, right, that make the difference in the long run. So, I totally understand this is boring, but just bear with me, we'll get there. We only got a few more instruments. Perfect, that's good right there. Okay, that's cool. Okay, and then the bell pad here. Man, you is for real, for sure, right, Nick? It's the boring stuff that be the most important. And honestly, that's really what separates people, right? When it comes to mixing, it's not necessarily just a one and done process, but I'm sure you know all about that. Perfect. All right, so we good now. We can move on, right? So now everything is pretty much level. I have everything zeroed out for now. And let's just hear what we got. Again, remember it's in mono. could come up. Let me see something here. No, that's right. Feel like my levels on Pro Tools ain't been consistent lately, man. For you guys that use Pro Tools, I usually know if it hits around 10, we're pretty much good with the VU meters. But you see this one, it hits at -14, but that's neither here nor there. That's just me nerding out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing I'm going to do is really just do some gain staging going into it, right? I'm not even going to worry about anything, how it's sounding. I'm just going to get a pretty much a well balance. A lot of times you can get a good mix just with a good balance without anything, right? So we're going to start back with that 808, right? We're just going to loop this for now. Okay, like that. All right, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this 808. Now, you notice here, my headroom is set to 15 on this VU meter. Now, all these are my drums, right? They're going into this drum bus, okay? I'm going to calibrate this using the -3 dB VU trick, which if you see my content, you already know how that works. But I'm going to calibrate at -15 because that's how I want it to go into my analog summing chain, all right? It sounds better. It gives a little bit more saturation. So just so you know. So let's get this kick going. And you see already it's at 3, right? So now bringing the 808 in, we should hit 0. Voila, look at that. And it don't matter if it goes over here and there a little bit, it's really just consistently. When it hits right, we want to hit 0. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and get into this bass real quick. And we want the bass and the kick, right? So again, the kick. All right, now the bass. Magic. Okay. I don't need this on right now. Let's turn that back off. All right, I'm bringing one by one. Before I do that too, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these right here, these tracks. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to command a shift option, I'm sorry. And I'm going to type in relay, like a spell. And then I'm going to put that all on all these tracks. And if you don't have relay, it's very easy and cool to use. The good thing about it is it does nothing except it's going to help me pan and it gives you a little width, right? Cool thing too, on advanced, you can go ahead and give it a filter for a cutoff. I'm not worried about that right now, but just letting you guys know here. So as I start panning, I'm going to use that. Again, we're in a mono, so it doesn't really matter right now, but just so you guys know what I'm thinking. Now you might think we're in mono, panning doesn't matter, but really that's the best place to pan because you're going to see how things open up and give a little space, right? It tells you a lot about the frequencies when you pan in mono. Oh, no, that's a symbol. Right here is where I want to be. This part 2. Put my clock on so I know how long I'm on this thing. Now, a lot of people do this real quick and they go into, mixing already. I'll take my time with this part because if you get this part right, it's going to make everything else easier, right? Just like Nick said, it's usually the boring stuff that matters the most and the most important, right? All right. And then let's go ahead and get this. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring this in. Okay. All right, let's see, we're good for now. So we have the drums pretty much good to go. Now we're gonna bring the instruments in one by one. Start with these keys here. And you know what? I'm gonna put relay on these two. That's all right. All right. A lot of times when I do this part, I don't know if you can see me here, but a lot of times I close my eyes when I bring these in, right? Because a lot of times our eyes can fool us. But, I'm always preaching, trust your ears. If you just close your eyes, you'll know where to put it. Okay. Okay. One thing to notice here, if you're not seeing this, hold on. What you got? Who has questions? One question. When I sidechain vocals, the kickstart, drop vocals, they become quiet and what's this like? And weak. What causes it and how can I fix it? When I sidechain vocals with kickstart, I wonder, I would look into how you're sidechaining them. Because it sounds like if they become weak, I wonder if you have it sidechained correctly. Because they shouldn't come weak. What do you sidechain with your vocals? Yeah, if you tell me that, then I can look into it for you. But that they definitely should not become weak. I might either look at a different plugin. I'm not familiar with Kickstarter, but I think I know which one you're talking about. All right. So one thing I wanted to let you guys know here. So if you notice, I'm gain staging right here, right? But all these tracks right here, that are going into this instrument folder are being subbed to this instrument bus. If you notice, I have this down a lot, right? 13. The reason I have that is because I want these to be at full level as far as their velocity going into my virtual mix rack here, okay? And then I can turn it down or up from here, right? So just so if you know that, you know what's going on. Okay, let's see here. I can never understand side chaining. What chains to what side and how? Hey, I get that. I totally understand that. It can get confusing, right? I tell you what, if you go look at, I gotta find the video, but I have a video about side chaining vocals and kicks on my page. Let me see here if I can tell you which one it is. If you guys have the Pro Q3, that's the one I use the most, and it's really easy. And actually, here I'll do it. I'll demonstrate it for you guys as we're going. Okay. So now that we're there, we're gonna play. I'm gonna play exactly what we have. This is just the rough, right? The gain staging just from the beginning. We haven't even done anything to the master sub yet, okay? And I'm gonna play it again. Remember, if you're just tuning in, it's in mono. I'm gonna bypass it into stereo as we're playing, okay? Yeah, for sure, man, for sure, definitely. Appreciate you tuning in. Definitely any questions you have, feel free. And if I don't get to it, I definitely will follow back up with you for sure. Cinema Gorilla. That's a dope ass name, actually. All right. So as you can tell, it's not really a big difference, right? I mean, it sounds the same. The thing that I want you to pay attention to as I play back one more time, I'm sorry I got sidetracked here trying to accommodate everybody here. When I'm playing it from the jump, right, and it's in mono, okay, you can start to hear what's muddy, what's not. Like when I'm listening to these instruments, if you can hear the keys, I'm already in my mind thinking, okay, I could probably cut some of this. But if you notice, I haven't done any of that yet. Also, I haven't done any panning on any of the instruments yet either. So sometimes it changes, sometimes I do different things, but I'm already hearing that. Now, if you'll notice when I bring it back into stereo, some of those masking things are not necessarily there. They're not necessarily as present. So it's easy for you to be like, oh, well, what's going on? I don't know. But if you mix in mono, it's never going to lie to you, right? You're going to know from the jump what needs to be attenuated or changed and things like that. What's masking, okay? So here we go. All right, stereo. My bad, I had it backwards. Again, this is why does it do with that? Hold on, see? Tell you he's been acting up. All right, here's mono. All right, stereo. And if you notice, the instruments kind of sound louder now, right? When I put it in stereo, that's because when I'm putting this rough mix together, I'm already understanding that most of my instruments are going to be side bassed, right? So I don't need them to be too far, too loud, because I know once I put it in stereo, that's going to come into play, okay? Now from here, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to go ahead and go to, I'm pretty sure you are familiar with top-down mixing, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go build our master bus, okay? Oh, you ain't gonna open for me, okay. All right, my 2-bus chain, okay. Now, just so you're aware of how I'm doing this is your first time ever checking out any of my content. So we have the instruments are going to this instrument folder. That folder is going to this instrument bus, okay. Now, keep in mind the instrument bus. All these drums are going to this drum folder is going to this drum bus, okay. From there, both of those are going to go, either the drum bus is going to go to all drums, okay? All music is going to go to all music, okay? This is my summing folder per se. Okay. From there, I have it going out. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going out into my 2-bus LT, dangerous 2-bus LT. All right. And then we're bringing it back into LT. You see it says LT return here, or LT. This is where it's coming back in, AES. All right. This right here is if I'm going to do some parallel compression on the actual full mix, right? And this is where we're going to start our master sub. Okay. What I want to do is I want to get it to a level that I'm happy with and to mix into it, okay? So let's check it again. Now keep in mind, like I said, going out of the actual analog summing, I have everything hitting at -15 dBVU. So when it comes back in here, it's not going to calibrate at 18, right? But what I'm going to do is, again, this is on all of my other stuff. You can go check out. I'm going to recalibrate it to -18. So I'm getting that saturation from my analog summing, but now I'm going to recalibrate it to go into my mix bus. All right, check it out. All right, so since I automatically recalibrated, now it hits at 18. Perfect. Now I know what that's like. Now I'm going to go ahead and just apply these plugins. And I really don't need to make any changes here because this is my basic standard setup, right? And again, all this is all on my channel. If you're not familiar with it, definitely go look at it. I think it's my mix bus settings and things like that, all right? And I'm adjusting just here this makeup gain because I want this to hit right here before it gets red on this Puig Tech. Okay, that's good enough for now. You know, I know you might watch a lot of different mixing stuff, and people are like, you know, I said it like this and then I'm done. That's not how I work, right? It's always a massaging to me, right? So I'm going to set something and I'm going to come back and look at it as I'm mixing to see how things change, okay? Because as I start compressing and things like that, it's going to change. We ain't even started mixing yet. It's not sounding half bad, right? Sounds all right. Definitely that clap and that snare is really kicking, right? It's really messing with my compressors and stuff here. So we're going to address that. All right. Can't forget Gulf hosts. Now, anytime I'm mixing a beat, I try to make sure when I send something out, I'm not sending it all the way squashed, but I'm sending at a good level. So I always like to send probably around 10 LUFS on a beat when I'm sending it out. So we're pretty much already there, right? As far as the level, we just need to now mix it and fine tune it. So let's go ahead and make that happen. So first thing I'm going to do, now we got everything pretty much good to go, just go backtrack, right? I'm gonna look at this 808 and this kick. What I'm doing here is, and this Pro Q2 is on, it says master, right? But this, I really use this just for monitoring. So I'm just monitoring this. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the frequency range. What frequency range is the kick in? Which frequency range is the 808 in? Okay, so about 100, maybe a little higher. Okay, let's look at this 808. Okay, so we have a little bit, could compete a little bit up here, right? So what we're gonna do is something pretty simple. We're just gonna go here. I don't really need this anymore. And we're gonna pull up Pool Tech. All right, I like the UAD version. You can use whichever one you want. But that's not the one I was looking at. Okay, that's the one I want. Okay, now I'm gonna put one here on this kick and one on this 808, and this is nothing unheard of. I'm sure you've watched stuff on the internet, you've seen this before, right? But all I'm gonna do is really, I'm going to make where this kick and 808 work together. And the way I'm gonna do that is with this kick, I'm really just gonna, I don't need too much of this low end. So I'm gonna attenuate some of this, and over here, I'm gonna attenuate some of this on this 808, right? So we'll do it as it's playing. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing. So let's do the kick first. So they already now playing even a little better together, right? So without them, okay. Then I'm gonna go in here and come to the snare. I might, just gonna go here, might take some of this top end off the snare. And then with my snares, what I like to do is I have a snare verb. Good for now. Bring that clap in. We'll say, gonna say for my drums. That's full. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. That's true. Okay, now with that, definitely this is way too present. Now I want these to be in the same, that clap already has some verb on it, but I want to give it a little bit as well so it kind of matches it together. Okay. Now another thing I like to do, I have something called SNST. And all this is going to do basically is bring the clap outside more stereo rather than the center. Okay, so check it out. I'm actually going to put it into stereo real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. turn it up a little too much so you can hear what I'm talking about. But okay, cool. Look at this. Everything I want to do before I move any further, this right here, my little preset. Just give it a little bit more on that low end. Just give that little feeling, right? Almost might be too much, actually. Cool. Put it back here. Another dope plugin that I use if you want to fatten up your drums, if you go to this Neve preamp here, right? My little preset here. This just adds a little bit of texture. So without it, more of a feeling, right? But it's actually a little too much. But you know what I might do? Let's see what it sounds like without that, because I might not even need that virtual mixtape. Yeah, I might not even need that mixtape on this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna rock with that pre. All right, let's go. Move on from there. This is taboo for a lot of people, but I don't care. I still put a little verb on my hats. And the reason for that is it makes it all cohesive. It makes it all sound together as one, right? Okay. Things already drowned in verb, but I'm still going to go ahead and add a little more. And then I'm going to put the S and ST on that little hit so it can be on the outside a little bit. Okay. Open hat. Let's go ahead and bring this other perk, and then we'll get this bass. I'm going to show you a trick that I do on the basses. It kind of brings them to life. Now that might need a little control. You see that? So what we're going to do is we're going to put an LA2A. I like this gray one here. All right. We're going to just get a little compression on that. Turn that down a little bit. fatten it up a little bit, give it a little compression. All right, let's get to this bass. Okay, let's see here. Now, one thing to look at, right? And I don't know if you see this, let me make it. So when I look at my drums, right, you can tell if it's dynamic or if things are consistent, right? If you look at this kick here, it's the same hit every time, right? So it's more consistent. It's 808, you can see like it's dynamic, and then the ends, you know, kind of die out. Now we could compress the put a longer release time to bring that up if we wanted to. But really more where I see using these dynamics and why I pay attention is on the basses, right? Because you see that's pretty dynamic, like it's high, then it's low, then it's high, then it's low. So my goal here is to bring it together, all right? But also not make it sound super compressed. So we're going to do a few things here. So first thing we're going to do is I like to put on my basses an L2 so I can get the level, okay? And what I'm going to look at is what is the peak right here in this bass. So let's play the bass. So if you see 14 is the bass, right? So what I'm going to do with that information, I'm going to bring this down all the way to 14 at the most, right? That's the peak. However, I want to squash it a little bit, so I'm going to bring it down a little more. Now doing that already fattens it up, right? But I'm going to do something different. I'm putting this here because we're going to need it in a minute. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put this decapitator. And I got a preset here that I made for bass synth. All right. And this is before, and then I'm going to bypass it. I'm going to play a bypass and then I'll unbypass it as I play it. You hear that thing come to life? Look. Okay, yeah, but it's a little too much. So I'm just going to dial it in, again, close up my eyes to see what sounds the best. Just wanted to bring it to life a little bit, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut some of this low in a little bit. Okay, just a little cleanup. So this is without anything on it. That's with stuff on it. Now it's more consistent, right? And then you can see it's just compressing it a little bit right there, right? All right, let's get these effects in, and we pretty much move these instruments real quick. How much time I got? All right. Okay. All right, that's all right. That's all right. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little verb. We're gonna widen that out a little bit. This effect. Yup. Got that thing rocking. Okay. Go ahead and end this right here. Might just leave that alone, but let's just see if it kills it too much if I put verb on it. Trying to put verb on low end, but still, let's just see. We'll leave it off for now, but we might come back to it. Okay, so now this is what the drums sounded like. The end of them. Here we go. All right, that's mono, right? We'll bring in the stereo. Good enough for me. Okay, let's move in over here now. Let's go on to actually, before I do that, I'm gonna play these instruments. I'm gonna put this on. See, if you notice, remember I told you earlier that I'm making adjustments here on all the instruments, but on the bus I got it turned down. The reason is, look how it's feeding into this virtual mix bus, right? You're hitting 0. And this is basically just emulating an analog console. Now, had I went ahead and made adjustments, like turn this all the way up and start turning these down, they're going to feed into this bus, not hitting it at a level that I wanted to hit it at. All right? Cool. So with that being said, let's go ahead and make it happen. All right? Oh, I don't know, my boy, if the homie from the sidechain question is still here, I'm going to show you that right now. Check it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my IO first of all. Let me build this. I'm going to go to bus. I'm going to make a bus. Kick SC. Okay. I'm going to go to my kick over here first. And I'm going to, in the send, kick SC. Mono send. I'm going to turn it up. And I'm going to make it pre-fader. Okay. All right. Then this right here, this plugin, this Pro Q3 is on my instrument bus. All right. So if you notice, it's already a preset, right? I've already got it set up. But what I'm going to do is that kick sidechain, I'm going to make sure it's right here in this key. Okay. So basically that kick is going to feed this. So basically every time the kick hits, the low end of the instruments, anything under 100 hertz is just going to duck. Okay. And I'm going to dial this in right now. Let's check it out. All right. See that? Now without it. It's amazing how just that little move right there, it already punches through a lot better. Okay, so now with that, good right now. On the second arp, I want a little bit more control on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, do I want to put a Fairchild or, let's go ahead and keep this same thing right here. Let's see what happens. Basically just fits it right there, right? Now what I might do here is if I load up this Pro Q3, we'll put one here and I'm gonna put one here. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look and see the competed frequencies. Now you'll see that because it's red, this little red right here, it'll show up for me. So see that? So now I need to make the determination, which one do I want to live in that space, right? If I go over here to this one. Now, in my opinion, this ARP2 is a little bit more, we'll just say it has a little more harshness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip it out here, all right, in this ARP2 to get rid of some of that harshness. Now check it out. Again, we're in mono, right? So me just doing that, I'm going to play it and you're going to hear it just regular, not in, right? Then I'm going to bypass it. You're going to see how just that little move right there I did freed up a little space. It sounds a little cleaner now. Check it out. Now they both can live. They're both happy, right? So that's that. All right, bring in this Vox. This one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna widen this out a little bit. I have something too that I use, instrument widener, okay? And all this really is a delay. But again, you hear it, it's a little masked, right? Compared to those other instruments. So I'm gonna do the same type of thing. See what. Okay. Now check it out, right? That's subtle. It's not big, but listen to it now when I put it in stereo. Now what I can do over here, now I'll do this here for you, is I'll probably do this in stereo. So I feel like this vocal, right, on the right side, or even just on the sides, I could bring it out a little more, right? So give it its own space. So I can do it side, or I can just make it on the right side. I liked how it's just on the right side, honestly, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Again, these are subtle things, so if you can't really hear it, I definitely understand, but it's just subtle moves that I'm making, okay? All right, and then we'll bring this next one now. Widen this out a little bit, and then I'm going to add some high end to this one. Go with the high shelf. Keep in mind, we're mixing in mono right now, so if you're barely hearing it right now, you're going to really hear it when I put it in stereo, okay? Now, before I move any further, pull in these last two instruments. What I want to do is, anytime I send out a beat, right, and I'm mixing a beat, what I'll do is I'll go in here, and on the mix bus, or the instrument bus, right, let's keep in mind the artist is going to record to this, hopefully, right? That's the goal. So what I'll do is I'll go and I'll duck out in the mids, right, about around the 1K range. And really what that's going to do is give a little space for the artist, all right? The cool thing about this Pulsar EQ that I'm talking about, I hadn't even showed y'all this EQ. But the cool thing about that I like, and some plugins have this, but I feel like it's more effective, this auto gain. So when I make the changes, it's still going to sound the exact same, right? But it's going to be a little cleaner. Now what I'll do is, and it can be stereo because I'm just moving the actual mono. I'm just in 1.8K. In mono, I'm dipping out a little bit, all right? So before, and then I'll just bypass it. And then what I'll I'll do here is on the side, you can see I gave just a little lift. Now you can't really hear that now because we're mixing in mono. But that's just so when the artist does record to it, there's already room for it, okay? So let's get these last two instruments out the way real quick. All right, let's see here. Then I'll show you a few finishing moves that I do here. See this right here? It's a little harsh in these areas. So I'm going to take some of that out, right? I'm just going to deep that out a little bit. Oh, I thought I was going to get away with it. Pro Tools froze up on me. Telling me I need to hurry and get off. It'll unfreeze here in a second. Okay, that's a good question. I can stop this. So, what point do I mix in headphones and what point do I switch to monitors? Really, I'm just mixing in headphones right now because I'm streaming, right? A lot of times I'm going to mix on my monitors and you can't see it, but I have a ref tone speaker, which is a mono, like, I don't know if you heard of Oratones, but I mix about 90% of the mix on that first. However, I'm switching back and forth, right? Going to there, then I'm going to my monitors. Now, when I get everything to a good point and I feel like, man, this is sounding good, then I'll actually switch to these because, believe it or not, these are, I call them old trusties, right? I trust these. I know how they sound. See, what I have here, and you'll see, is I don't have it turned on, but I have sound reference ID. So it's supposed to adjust to my room, flat response, and it's cool. It works pretty good, right? But I know what these sound like. I know what they should sound like. So I'm constantly switching back and forth between my mono ref tone speaker, the speakers here, my sub, and the headphones. Oh, not just this is a cheat code too. I don't know if I use this. I don't know if I can see. My shit has a lag. Okay, yeah. So, all right. So basically, this right here, I reference everything on this, and I hook it up from like an aux on my Apollo Twin into here, and this is how I check mid-range sometimes on my mix. So if you have one of those, that's good as well. As well as this. But I'm a mix engineer for real, right? I'm just checking on everything. So I hope that answers your question, Dick. All right, let's see. Okay, so we're back now. We're good to go. Got this all taken care of. Cool. Let's see here. All right, let's get this last little instrument in here real quick. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put A1, not S1, A1. Stereo control. This is cool. This is a free plugin, but it's a widener plugin. Okay, this is kind of dynamic too. So what I'm gonna do is just copy this over real quick, see what it sounds like, and make the adjustments. It makes it more present, makes it stand out a little more, but at the same time, like, I can make the adjustment here. It's all kind of, it's not so dynamic, it's not soft and heavy, it's all at the same level. One more time. And you see, I'm not really killing it, I'm just doing a little bit there, okay? All right, now with that here, this right here I do, and this is actually on my other videos as well, this wide high. And really it's a send that I made that just widens the high end. I love to put that on my instruments. But before I do that, let's go ahead and test out, see where we at, check the levels real quick, and take it from there. Is that on which instrument? Is it this one or? Got a little harsh at one point. Yeah, I'm tripping. Right there, that's it, right there. And you see it right there, in that end right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut a little bit of that out. Just get a little control of that so it's not doesn't piercing on your ear. So let's hear what we got all the way from the top real quick. Check our levels. I don't know if that was forgotten or... I think we pretty much it there. I mean, there's a few little minor things I can really touch upon, like on that change up. Sometimes it gets a little harsh, but I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. That's good enough for now on this. A lot of times, even something so small, I'm gonna sit on it, right? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna take a break, take these off. I've been mixing in these. I'm gonna check my different monitors when I come back and just make sure. And then everything sounds good. If I need to make any more edits, I'll make them. If not, then what I'll do is I'll print it and get ready to send it out. But I hope this has helped somebody. I hope this has helped, just show you kind of what I do. Hopefully maybe you had some aha moments. Definitely, if you have any questions, let me